On January 1st, 2026, the rules for supervising contrast-enhanced exams change permanently. But the real story is the audit risk. CMS audits are intensifying, and poor documentation is the top reason for payment clawbacks. These new permanent rules establish a much higher, more specific standard for what auditors will demand as proof of supervision. And the rules aren't one size fits all. What's compliant for a hospital is a violation for a private physician's office. We'll break down the exact documentation you need, the compliant technology, and the pitfalls that could cost you. First, let's be clear on the technology. CMS requires real-time, two-way, interactive audio and video. A simple phone call is explicitly non-compliant. The platform must also be HIPAA-compliant and fully encrypted. Consumer-grade tools like standard FaceTime or Zoom are unsuitable and expose you to risk. Why is CMS making this permanent? Because it works. Virtual supervision helps solve the growing radiologist shortage, expanding patient access. This separation of supervision from physical location optimizes physician time and creates major operational efficiencies, reducing canceled exams and costs. This isn't just a government mandate. It's a clinical shift. The American College of Radiology has aligned its own guidelines to support these new rules. So we know the rule is permanent and the technology must be specific. But how do you prove compliance to an auditor? That's where documentation becomes paramount. The single most important concept auditors will test is immediate availability. Your records must prove a supervisor was reachable in seconds, not minutes. This is why time-stamped logs are mandatory. Auditors require a clear record of the connection's start, duration, and end for every single exam. You must also explicitly document the method of supervision used. Was it virtual or physical? A vague note is a red flag. But is that log enough? Finally, these records aren't temporary. CMS demands a minimum 7-year retention period for all supervision documentation. Here's what an audit-proof record contains: the patient identifier, the supervising physician's NPI, the specific AV technology used, and precise automated timestamps. Now contrast that with a common failure: a note saying, "virtually supervised." This lacks required detail and is an easy target for recoupment. Compliance extends beyond the log file. It includes your people and processes. Auditors will look for proof that your on-site team is fully trained in contrast administration. Your facility must also have clearly defined and documented emergency escalation procedures. You must be able to prove they have been rehearsed. Let's revisit technology. A compliant platform integrates with your workflow and automates logging. A non-compliant tool forces manual, error-prone work and creates security gaps. Now, let's add a layer of difficulty that trips up many providers. The level of supervision required by CMS is not the same everywhere. Are you a hospital outpatient department, a physician's office, or an IDTF? The answer dramatically changes your compliance requirements. For hospital outpatient departments, CMS finalized general supervision as the default for most contrast imaging, assuming trained personnel are on site. But for physician offices and independent diagnostic testing facilities, the rule is much stricter. These settings require direct supervision for contrast exams. Direct supervision means the physician must be immediately available. This is where compliant virtual supervision meets the standard in on-site physician. On top of all that, you must also follow state law. CMS rules don't override state-level licensing, telemedicine, or clinical delegation laws. Common pitfalls stem from these nuances: using inadequate technology, failing to log events properly, or misinterpreting the rules for your specific practice setting. So the greatest risk isn't one thing. It's the combination of using the wrong technology for the wrong setting, then failing to create the documentation required for that setting. So how do you build a truly defensible, audit-proof virtual supervision program? It comes down to connecting 3 key areas we've discussed. We asked what truly proves immediate availability. It's the synthesis of compliant, HIPAA-secure AV tech, automated time-stamped logs, and documented protocols for your setting. When these pieces are integrated, you not only become audit-proof, you also gain the full operational benefits: improved efficiency, expanded access, and reduced costs. With increasing audits, a compliant program isn't about efficiency. It's about protecting your revenue. Your checklist is clear. Evaluate your practice setting to determine your supervision level. Adopt compliant, secure technology that automates logging. Document your protocols. Virtual supervision is now a permanent and powerful part of modern radiology. Proactive compliance is the way to get its benefits without the risks. Start your compliance audit today. Review your technology, documentation processes, and training protocols now to ensure you are ready for 2026.